All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College, and as part of my YouTube channel, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, and in particular the YouTube playlist that you see in front of you, Jeff Teaches Programming-Python. So far I've created about 60 videos that have gone through teaching you the Python programming language. And we've gone through everything from simple procedural programming to the data structures that are used in Python. We've talked object orientation, we've talked file systems, and we're into databases right now. All right, and I've done several programs where I've worked with a database, and in particular, the database that I've worked with has been the SalesOrders database. It has 8 tables in it. A categories table that you can see right here, a customers table, an employees table, a vendors table, a products table, a product vendors table, an orders table, and an order details table. All right, and as we look at those, you'll notice some of the tables are fairly simplistic. For instance, when you look here, we have 6 categories. We have, I don't know what it is, about 27 or 28 customers. We've got 8 employees. We've got about 40 different products. We have about the same number of product vendors. We have, I think it's about 930 some odd orders, of which there are about between 3,900 and 4,000 order details. So these are the details that make up the orders. And finally, we have about 10 vendors. All right. So why am I showing you this? Because I've created quite a few programs with this already. But now I want to create a CRUD program for you, and I've actually got it created for you already. And we're going to create it together, but I want to show you the end product, so to speak. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm just going to run it right away. All right. Now it's going to come up. It's very crude. Okay. In fact, let's clear this. So let me put a 5 here and then a 9 to get out. Oops. And let's do a B. There we go. And we'll run it again. So when it comes up, it's got a main menu here and it asks which of these 8 tables do you want to work with? Or you can hit 9 to exit. All right. Notice if you hit something else. So if I put in here 77, it just says invalid choice, please select again, and it comes back up. I didn't do anything as far as playing with it, prettying it up, and clearing screens, etc. I don't care about that right now. But I want to run through, and I'll use the categories because it's the simplest table. All right, so we'll select number 1. All right, so we've now got the categories table. So I can do any of these operations, and you'll notice if you look at the first letter in each of the 4, it spells CRUD, C-R-U-D. So for instance, if I do a 2, it shows me all of the accessories, or the categories rather, that we have in here. There are 6 of them. Accessories, bikes, clothing, components, car racks, and wheels. All right. Now, let's add a new category. So I'm going to put in a 1. We're still inside of categories. So it says enter a category description. And I'll just say this is a new category. And it says that the category was created. How do I know? I put in, again, a 2. And you'll notice there it is. This is a new category. All right. I can also come in there and I can update it. So I can hit 3 for update. And it says enter the category ID. Well, you can see it's number 7. So it says enter a new category description. All right, so we'll put in here a new category description. So you see that previously it said this is a new category. Now I've got a new category description. And if I again read it, There it is, a new category description. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this and then bring it back again just to show you that the delete works as well. So if I do a 4 and it says enter category and I put a 7 in there, it says that category was deleted. If I put in a 2, you'll notice it's gone. All right. Let's add it right back again. So again, we'll say new category description. All right. And again, if I do a 2, it's there. Nothing new there. That shouldn't surprise anybody. All right, so let's go back to the main menu and let's quit. All right, I've exited the application. Let's run the application again. And again, we'll go to 1 for categories and we'll go for a 2 for read. You'll notice that it has persisted. My new category is in there. Now, I'm not going to run through these, but I could run through them. Believe me, they all work. Whether you're talking about categories or customers or employees, order details, orders, products, product vendors, or vendors. All of them right now, they all work. All right, now what I don't have in here right now is I don't have any error checking in here. So for example, if I go in, let's say, let's go to the orders, which is number 5. All right. And it's in, let's say we wanted to create a new order. It says enter a date. All right. If I put in there hello, all right, and a ship date, and I put in goodbye, and an ID, and let's put in there none, and an employee ID, we'll again put in none. All right, it says order was created. Now, did it really create it? Well, let's take a quick look. Let's do number 2. It did put it in there. All right. And I guess it did it just because all of these are strings. And I'm surprised it did in here, the 1020 and the 702. I thought it would have broken here, but it didn't. All right, so let's see if we can break it. All right, so I'm going to come back to 945. So let's update. Okay, 945. As for new order date, I'm going to leave it empty. And I'm going to leave everything empty. And you notice I get errors. All right, and that's because the way that this has been written thus far, the way that it has been written is there is no exception handling in it. I'm going to add that. I do want to show you right now the way that this looks. All right, I've got main here. This is just a text file I was working with. I brought in the database, and I've got main here. All right. In addition, I've got actually an empty file that we'll go over that's called __init__py. We'll go over it in a bit. But every one of these has 2 files in it. It has an empty init_py. Well, it's got the cache file, I guess. But it's got categories crud.py in categories, customers crud.py in customers, employees crud.py in employees, order details crud.py in order details. All right. Orders.crud.py in orders. Products crud.py in products. Product vendors crud.py in product vendors. And finally, vendors crud.py. So we're going to go over all of those. All right. And I'm going to show you when we get to main here how I did this. And there's different ways of doing it, but I want to show you what I consider to be, let's just get out of this, what I consider to be the best way of writing main for this program. All right, not everybody will agree, but here is the setup for it. So underneath my root or home directory, there's main.py. There's also, and I should have put it in there, there's an init.py in there as well. All right. So I think what that means is I think there's one here as well. But we'll look. But categories init.py. All right, and I don't think there's a dot in there, but I don't remember. It's okay either way. Yeah, there is. Underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. But you'll notice it's the same setup that I've shown you. All right. Then I want to show you how I imported these because I did it differently. And we'll talk about it because there's different ways of doing this. But you can see I brought in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. That is not 32 different files. It's actually 8 different files. And each one of those files has 4 different module or methods in it, really functions. All right, so we're going to go over all this. And then here's how we connect it to our database. I just brought the database in. Here's how we wrote the main menu. Then you were told to select an option. All right, 1 to 8 or 9 to exit. All right, and then depending on what you put in there, all right, you'll get into the CRUD menu, which will allow you to do one of the CRUD operations or go back to the main menu. All right. Now, this looks kind of ugly right now. It's a big if statement. So if it's a 1, there's the different 8 tables. Else if it's a 2, there's the 8 tables. Else if it's a 3, there's the 8 tables. Else if it's a 4, there's the 8 tables. And if it's a 5, you break. That's if you chose to exit. If you put in anything other than a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 there, you get invalid choice, try again. All right. And then down here is how we're going to handle all those. I'm not going to go through that right now. But what I want you to understand is this is going to be by far the biggest program that has been written in this online set of videos that I'm creating for you thus far. All right. And it's the biggest and it's the most complex. The plan is in the next series of videos to get this in there to where I've got it right now. After that, we're going to go in and we're going to talk, because I've been doing some work on this most of the afternoon. And where is it? On using exceptions in the exception hierarchy that exists with different types of exceptions that you can get in SQLite 3. All right. So we're going to talk about all of those. Okay. Then once, so we're going to build this and not worry about exception handling, get it to work, then add exception handling. That's the goal of the next part here. After that, what I want to do is I want to go back and rewrite this again in an object-oriented way, because you're going to notice in here there's a lot of code duplication. And we're going to see if we can eliminate most, if not all, of that code duplication. So we'll rewrite this in an object-oriented way. All right, so it'll look the same, really, as it does right now. Once we get done with that, the next thing I want to do, and I found a neat article on this today. Let's see. Called, which is the best GUI library for Python? Because it's time to start writing GUI programs. Now, the only one that I've really worked with has been either, depending on the book you read, it's either called Kinter or tkinter. All right. Now it says it's not suited for complex projects. You don't have to install it because it's pre-installed, and it provides frames, buttons, checkboxes, etc. The kind of stuff most of you who've done any work in languages like C#, you're used to. So I'm probably going to use tkinter. I haven't done this one yet. Now this is PyQt5. All right. This is another one. that we could use. I'm going to use the one I think is easiest for people to understand, which will probably be tkinter. Now, we're not going to immediately build this app, this sales order app. No, I'm going to go back and I'd like to build, for example, like go in and maybe rebuild, as an example, the guessing game, the calculator, etc. Rebuild those in a GUI format. And hopefully then you'll have a better understanding and then move in and write something like this. All right, I haven't even used most of these that are in here. All right, notice it even says Pi Simple GUI. Maybe we'll use that one. I don't know. All right. So it says these are the top 6. So we'll take a look at them and see which one makes the most sense. So again, the idea is we want to get this sales order CRUD app to work in a non-object oriented way, number 1. Number 2, get it to work in an object oriented way. Number 3, start going into GUI apps and rewrite at least a couple of the apps, at least the guessing game app and the calculator app. Rewrite those as GUI apps using one of these packages. Then, hopefully, rewrite the sales order application as a GUI app. After we get done with that, I've hit on many of the beginning things for covering Python. I showed you this a long time ago. Where is it? Here. How to learn Python programming from scratch. We've gone over the basics. We've done the language syntax and basics. We've gone through these core concepts. We're looking now at these advanced concepts. We've done some module work. We'll continue to. We've done object-oriented. We've written functions. All right. And then notice next what they show here, practical applications. And the first thing that's shown there is web development. And that will be what we will do next. We'll basically learn how to write websites. And rather than using straight HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we'll use a framework like Django. All right. And that'll bring the first set of these videos that I'm doing pretty much to a close. Now, again, I've done like 61 of these. My guess is by the time I get finished, it'll be upwards of 100, of 100 when I get done. We'll see. If you have any suggestions or whatever, feel free. You know, if you want to like this, feel free to do that. Leave me a comment. I always appreciate the input. Thanks, and I'll come back with the next lecture probably tomorrow morning.